past few years, collective research has debunked the popular myths that a high-fiber diet lifestyle can cause unfinished housework, late dinners, and neglected family members. In fact, continuing studies show that a high-fiber diet lifestyle may significantly improve the disposition of a crafter, creating a more contented home life. Furthermore, continued exposure can develop an ability to endure meetings, waiting rooms, school functions, and sporting events without experiencing the kind of boredom it makes one want to consume lead paint. Here are just a few ways one can properly increase daily fiber intake. Visit your local yarn store or shop online. Join online fiber communities. Tour sheep or alpaca farms. Attend fiber festivals. Or listen to the High Fiber Diet podcast. Please remember to spread your fiber intake throughout the day rather than trying to get it all in one shot. Stretching and resting is important, and your body will thank you.
Hi, this is Coggie, and welcome to the High Fiber Diet podcast. It is the 23rd of August, and Sarge will be joining me later. Yeah, it's been a beautiful day, so I have a lot to talk about. Hopefully I can remember. I did write some show notes, but hopefully I can remember to go over everything. I keep forgetting one or two things every podcast, and it's just my old brain going through things. Swear. So first off, right here in front, what I finished. I have finished my mustache yarn 50 Woodstock colorway socks in the sport weight, I think. Let me look and make sure. It's in here, or at least it was this morning. Hopefully it still is. Yep. Let's see, 80/20 superwash merino nylon sport, wound yardage of 328 yards to 100 grams, and this is sport self-striping sock, matching must-match skeins. And so I did these as just a tube. I added, since this was sport weight and this is a very light fingering yak silk, I held double the yak silk for the heels and the toes, and I do have two and they do match, and I'm very happy with how they came out. These are for me, and I will move on to other socks. I think I have 3 or 4 more pairs going, and so those I'll talk about in a little bit. I did go through all of my whips and I did a lot of frogging, but to talk about this, I was on a size 3 needle. I do have enough left over to do either shorties or mitts or something out of it. I'm not sure what, but there's plenty. I did one full repeat and then started on the second repeat. Putting in my heels, I do 4 rounds of plain and then go into an every other row decrease down to a total of 8 stitches, actually 9, because I do 3 in the middle for my heels. I do 2 in the middle for my toes, and that gives me a little bit of a wider base for the heel. Not that I need a whole ton, but it just kind of cups my foot a little bit better. And so I am very happy with these. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a lot of frogging that happened. I went searching this week for a sewing machine, and I haven't needed my sewing machine since we moved back to Michigan. Drinking lemon tea. Iced, but the ice has melted. So I hadn't unpacked the box that said sewing machines. I unpacked the box with sewing machines. I found 6 pounds of fiber, all different kinds, and 8 sweaters worth of yarns and absolutely no sewing machines. So I am still on the hunt in boxes. We have 4 bedrooms. One is our bedroom, one is Sarge's room, one is my office and yarn room, and the other right now is storage with boxes and things like that we're trying to get put together to have a guest room. So I'm going through some of those boxes, and I haven't found my sewing machines yet. I did look in the box that said fiber. That also had fiber, but I don't remember donating my sewing machines. I thought I had my mother's old free white Westinghouse. I have a Husqvarna. I have a brother, and I have an old Singer, and I can't find any of them. So I haven't needed them in 3 years, so I haven't looked. But now that I'm looking, I'm going, where the heck are my sewing machines? We got Sarge's pants to an alteration place instead of me having to hem them, but still that's a pain in the tail. So I'm looking. I am looking. But in going through that, I found, in the mess of sweaters, I found an old sweater for Sarge, and this just caught on my spinning wheel. Okay. I'll put a picture in here that shows the sweater that I had started for him back in, I think, 2010. It might have been 2011. It was going to be a rolled collar. Well, it had a collar, but it could flip up, and a zip. And I was done except for finishing the sleeves and doing the placard for the zipper. Yeah, number one, I smoked in 2010. I no longer smoke. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it had to be washed. Number two, Sarge has gone from Sarge size to Sarge size. And yeah, that was no longer going to fit. It fit across the back very nicely, but coming over and actually fitting his torso and shoulders, and yeah, no. So I now have 600 grams of Cascade 220 in this gray that I have since washed. It no longer smells like smoke. I washed it and then hung it outside to get the sun on it so that it could, air out. And this one was the part that hadn't been knit yet. The rest of this had been knit, and it is just in hanks that I just pulled off. This one's not that big. This one's got at least 3 skeins in it, at least. And then I believe this was one of the sleeves. It was partially not knit. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to make out of this. He's asked for, he doesn't want a zip up sweater anymore like that. So, but something will get knit out of this, and it will be processed into stash, and moving forward, we will see what it becomes and grows up to be. But on top of that, I had pulled things off my UFO tree. I was like, I need the guilt of not finishing gone. And going into autumn, I want an augmented autumn to where it's nice and calm for me. I have enough stress going on in the rest of my life. My hobby does not need to be stressful. So I know there's been a little bit of discussion with me back and forth by a couple people that yes, I've lost weight. I have dropped 100 pounds so far. In fact, 101 pounds as of 2 days ago when I weighed. I only weigh once a week. But I still have another 75 pounds that I want down. And so it's been an ongoing journey for me all my life, but especially since 2007, 2008. In 2009, I had a hysterectomy. and then moving forward from then, having knee surgery, multiple knee surgeries, and everything else that I went through. In 2015, I had bariatric surgery. And I dropped over 275 pounds at that time. Did not reach my goal weight. But I then in 2022 broke my back. And I rebounded, and I didn't rebound hard, but I rebounded enough that I wasn't happy. And I kind of caught myself, and I was, doing the bounce back of 10 pounds here, 10 pounds there, up, down, up, down, up, down, and talked with my doctor. And we went into a program that is working with my bariatric tiny Tassie tummy, as well as some ways for me to watch what we're eating here and other things. Part of it was finding out that I had AFib. I was diagnosed way back in the day with having emphysema. I do not have that. It was a misdiagnosis. Other things like that have come and gone over the years, even to the point of things that I knew were wrong with me. Doctors said that it was all in my head, and come to find out they were actually wrong with me, such as my AFib and such as being hypermobile and things like that. So my daughter's been diagnosed with some things, and I've been diagnosed with some things, and with me getting diagnosed, she gets, and then with her getting, I get. And so we talk amongst ourselves and talk with our doctors about it. We do see two different doctors, but it's easier when you have something in the family. And so, not to go too in depth, but if somebody wants me to do a side podcast, just an episode about my actual journey, I'm not opposed to it. I'm very open with what I've gone through. But a lot of what I have been knitting, and why I haven't been knitting on it, is because everything was too big. And even though I've only dropped 4 clothing sizes, it's still that vast amount that a lot can go into a knitted garment, and you can wear it a little bit tighter and then wear it a little bit looser, but then you get to the point where it's way too loose. And there are things like my arms. This excess skin will never be gone unless I have surgery. I don't know that I'll ever have skin surgery. I'll always have little bits that I'll have to accommodate for, and that's one of the reasons why in knitting I can knit to my size and my style and to fit my body, instead of just buying something off the rack. And it's only been in the last few years that I've gotten comfortable even wearing a tank top like this and being seen in it. I've accepted who I am, and if the worst thing about me is that I take up a little bit more space, I'm okay with that. I have other avenues that are really good. So I'm not tooting my horn. I'm just saying, if that's the worst thing about me, I'm okay. But when that gets into what I've frogged, the Button Blossom sweater, I was doing that as a test knit. I am a test knit fail on that. I contacted the designer. It's already out and published in Lina magazine or Lina book. I have the pattern. I may do it at a different time, but the fabric I was getting was causing my hands to hurt so bad in doing that bud stitch that I wasn't able to knit or crochet on anything else. And I'm not going to put my hands at risk to do that. Love the pattern, written very well. I think it's a me problem, not a them problem, and I think it has to do with how I hold my needles. I'm getting scratchy, sorry. Let's see if that helps. The next thing was my mystery hat. I am not a mystery knitter, and I never have been, and I don't know why. I've joined a group because a lot of my online friends are in it, and I like it, but I did rip that out. It wasn't one that I'm not a hat wearer, and Sarge looked at it and went, I'm really not gonna wear that. And so there's no point in me making it. So I will take this yarn, part of my palette collection. And this is a little bag that Lori sent to me with otters. And I adore otters. And one of these days I'm gonna go somewhere where I can hold their little handies. One of the things I like about otters is they hold hands so they don't drift apart from each other while they sleep. It is so cute. So this, I love this little bag, and I will knit something else out of that. I had a pair of socks, and I know I've talked about these socks in the past and all the crocking that the blue does. This is a red and white stripe. This is now a red and blue stripe from the toe, and this is the blue. I think I'm going to soak the blue and see if a citric acid wash or soak with some heat will stop it from crocking. If it doesn't, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, because I know that blue is really hard. Even when I'm dyeing things, trying to get all the blue out is very hard. But when it changes the colors of your wood needles, it's a bit much, and I can't knit with it without my hands turning blue. So I know blue is hard, I know red is hard, but I want to see if there's actual bleeding or if it's just crocking, and that is two different terms. Crocking is where it comes off on things, bleeding is where it comes off on water. And right now I have it in a Ziploc so I can keep it separate from other yarn, so it's not getting into other things. So that got frogged. I also have Grand Old Flag, I don't know, it's something Americana, but it's from Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. I was doing a Italian summer bandana. I ripped that out. It's not something I'm going to wear. I even thought about putting the eye cords on the ends and making it into a hair bandana. My sister wears those. I don't. I'm a very warm person, and having something on my head I hate, and the most I put on my head is if I go to the beach, I wear a sun hat, and occasionally I wear a baseball hat. Not very often, but I'm just not a hat person. And so I rip that out. I'm not sure what this is going to become. I love the yarn. I love how it's a faded Old Glory with the antiquing tea stain kind of like in between instead of just white, and I love it. It wasn't what I wanted to knit on, and it's not going to grow up to be that. Another test knit fail is my V-neck sweater. It was way too big. When I took it off the needles, I tried it on, and it was like this on me. I mean, at least 10 inches on either side that I could hold out. So that's 20 inches on either side, just way too big for me. And so I have all this drops air, which is the second time it's been ripped out, because 90% of this was knit. And I don't know what it's going to grow up to be. It is beautiful yarn. I love it. I love the color. Kind of a dusty ballerina pink. Very light nary. Very good stitch definition in the yarn. But yeah, I need to knit something in my size, and I'm going to work on that with this. Then I think the final thing was my hand knit cardigan that I was doing, or hand spun cardigan. So I have all of this hand spun that I had 4 of these knit up, those 4. I had already separated for sleeves. I was knitting down. No. So I have all of this that I don't know what I'm going to do with. I have some other hand spun in the room that I could actually do a hand spun blanket out of this, doing stripes, doing strips. It is all, this was off of my breed sampler and fiber samplers that I was doing. And I have all that information in here on what I want to spin with again and what I don't, but I have all of that fiber in here. I think between everything, there's like 30 different kinds of fiber all mixed together. And then I have some other in the room that is this Aran to bulky weight that I could probably do more on. Plus, when I was pulling out that fiber out of that box that was supposed to be spinning wheels, or was supposed to be sewing machines, was a fiber that I had started to do a sweater with, and it was all shades of blues. And I have one more that's done in superwash merino top, and I have one more that I need to spin up, and that is done in a bulky. And it's a thick thin spin, and I did it intentionally like that. So I need to, after I'm done spinning on what I'm spinning here, which I'll talk about in a minute, I will try to get that on the wheel and get that processed up so that I do have a sweater quantity. I just don't know that I'm still going to knit the sweater that I wanted to. It was a sweater with arrow lace in it, and it was a scoop neck, long sleeve, very boho looking. I really like the style still. I just don't know if that's the yarn I'm going to use or if I'm going to get regular already done yarn to big name yarn to do it in. That takes me on to spinning. And so spinning, I have finished, don't lose the end caps. If you know where to get the end caps for the ladybug wheels instead of using these O-rings, they used to have an end cap that popped on that was a ladybug that you could get from an Etsy dealer, and I can't find them now, and I would love to have some. So if you know somebody with a 3D machine or somebody that would make some, that would be great. So I have finished the merino and silk that I had going. This is from Apothecary. So that's done. I have finished the bast fiber and merino that was from CJ Kopak in the colorway denim. Apothecary does not put names on hers. And I have started, I'm not pulling off the bobbin because I'm not taking that apart, but I can pull this out. And this is bast fiber fine wool, silk, and bast fiber in this teal, almost emerald color. It's a little more green. And I am down to half of the 4 ounces, and 3.5-ish, because it's 100 grams. So that's what I'm looking at finishing up on that bobbin, and then I will ply all 3 together and come up with whatever I'm making out of that. I was thinking of doing a night shift. I think that's the big shawl, right? Shift shawl. Out of the last one that I did that was more peaches and browns, really light tan like browns, and that would be the soft color, and then this one would be the darker with the blue and the teal and the variegated, and I'm just waiting to see how that comes out to see if that is what I want to process as such, but it will be a 3-ply. Whoa. Yeah, I really don't like these O-rings. I'd really like a cap on the end. So I'm gonna have to find somebody with a 3D printer because I don't have one yet. What have I been working on? When it comes to knitting, I have been working on my, is it loom or lume? I'm not sure. I did weave in everything, and I separated for sleeves. And as I did that, I took 17 stitches on each side and moved them from the back to the front because I have more ample front room than I have back room. So my back is relatively narrow, and my front right now looks like it's just poofing out, but instead of having to add increases for that, it will fit my bust without having to add increases. I did, after separating for the sleeves, which I have on short Chiagu cords. I had one large and one small, but it goes on, that's fine. I did bump up from a size 8 needle to a size 9 needle because I know it's going to be a little bit drapier in after the bust, and I don't mind that, and I prefer I'm actually working with a worsted weight, and I think this calls for a DK weight. And so I'm kind of doing my own thing now that I've done this. I will be coming back and picking up and doing the sleeve, but I'm not going to do a turned sleeve. I think I'm going to do the rolled edge like I did at the top. It's just simple. It'll look like this, but it'll be yay much longer because putting my arm in it at this point, I'm on a cord so it doesn't stretch much, but I'm gonna want this covered to here. And so it'll come down to about right here, just getting this covered. And then I will do either the rolled edge if I decide, or I'll do the same as I do on the bottom. But as soon as I'm done with this skein, I'll do the sleeves and then continue on with the rest of this spruce green. This is shepherd's wool. Shepherd's wool worsted is a heavy DK, but a light worsted. You can't get it anymore. It's so sad. It's one of my favorite yarns, made right here in Michigan. The yellow is it lemon yellow or sunny yellow is the yellow. The orange inside of the flower is just a mini that I had that was fingering that I held double. And then the white is a DK Donegal tweed from Wool to Die For undyed. And so it's got the different color tweeds in there. And I really like the way, other than changing where I don't have a front and a back that are the same size. So I can't just do a yoke sweater and have it, because then I get bunchies and I get all sorts of things. So if I move it to the back, or I move it from the back to the front and add sizing and decide where my sleeves are and the inches that I need, I don't have to do extensive short rows. As you can see, that automatically pulls up the back just a little bit, just because it's a shorter distance and gives it more structure. And so I'm very happy with how it's coming out. It is my nighttime knitting on the couch. And yeah, that's where I am on that. In my sunflower bag, I have my Ruana, and this is, let me look at the name of the Ruana. This is the Miriam Ruana by Vanessa Casacari or Casacari. I'm not sure. Coscarelli. Black. Can't read. Black. Glasses are over there because they reflect. but this is the first side. I have another side to do, so this will be one of the fronts. And I need 10 of these repeats, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need one more arrow repeat. And then I will do the rows at the top. And then I do the second side the exact same way. And then I do a back that is basically the length of the two sides. And I seam it together at the top. I think it calls for a Kitchener at the top. I'm probably going to do a 3-needle bind off just to make it easy and structurally sound. And then I saw on Facebook, I'll get into what I'm using for that in just a second, but I saw on Facebook a picture of a wrap that somebody was doing, and I went, I want that. But I don't want it out of fabric. I wanted it out of knitting. So I found this pattern and I bought this pattern. And this is from the Fleece Company. And if you notice, it's got that little bar of fabric right there. And I'll probably do either one of the repeats with some garter on the edge or something to make it so that it has that little repeat right there, kind of like adding a pocket, but it's so that you can slip your Ruana and hold it so you don't have to have a shawl pin. And I was like, I like that. Now looking at this, this is a half circle shape, so it's going to look a little bit different when I do it with squares, but I think it's still going to give me the fit and the security that I want for a fall, spring wrap for work. And I am just doing this out of a washable, is it Premier? I think it's Premier Anti-Pilling in Natural Cream. So it is an acrylic, and I'm not an acrylic slob, or snob. Slob, yeah, but snob, no. So this is only 2 skeins so far, and I have 14 skeins, so I'm sure I have enough. Yeah, it has been a no-brainer once I got the 8-row repeat down, and then the blocks of 6 rows in between those repeats. And I did have a portion here that I had to rip back. I'll throw in some pictures of me ripping it back because it was right on the edge. And you know, once I wrapped my brain around it, it was easy. I got it done in like 10 minutes and got back on. What I had done was forgotten 2 garter ridges. And when you're doing a garter edging, you can't really forget the garter ridges. So I am knitting this on, is this a size 9? Yes, size 9 Chiagu, interchangeable, and I do put stitch markers on every repeat because then I can go this many, this many, this many, and just make it easy. Another thing that I ripped back but will be restarted is Sarge's sweater. I showed it last week that I was doing it out of my brain and doing a top down and yada, 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 yada. And sometimes you think you know so much that you can do things, and you really should just follow the pattern. So I pulled out my, the Purl Stitch Book by Sally Melville. And again, I'm doing the, classic college cardigan, and I'm doing it in the men's, and so I will be doing it like this, but the colors will be Lion Brand, Fisherman's Wool, dark brown, a silver gray, a navy blue, and I have multiple navy blues if I need it, but I don't think I will. I have 2 of these, so that's 950 yards about. And then I have 1 of these and 3 of these. So I think I'll have plenty to do the 3x1 and do it exactly. I am, however, doing it in a 8 and a 10, 8 for ribbing, 10 for the body. This is a Aran, almost Aran weight, heavy worsted. So I will have enough to do, I think he is a 50-inch chest, but 6'1", so he's got room that I have to accommodate. And then I'll have to get buttons, and I think maybe some leather toggle buttons will be really nice on that. But I may get some leather round kind of coat looking buttons for it. I'm not sure. And he does want pockets. He also wants an inside pocket. So I will move forward with that as I can. And I don't want to lose this book. I want it put back in there. So that's easy enough to slide in. Talking about things for him, I had started the, oh shoot, I got the patch for it too. I'll have to put the picture in about the patch because I forgot to bring it over. But I have started the, I think I showed this on the last one, that I started the Ravenclaw scarf out of the Harry Potter, is it magical nets or something like that? So I have that started. I haven't knit on this much, but we have another surgery coming up on Thursday. So I will have some time. I'm not sure if I'm going to take this or if I'm going to take his sweater. It just depends. So I have that. And that is in a bag that I got at Michigan Fiber Fest last year. This last weekend was Michigan Fiber Fest. I did not attend. I have enough yarn to sink a ship. So that's my cat blanket based off the 6-day star, doing a swatch for that. I haven't made that yet, but I'm working on it. Other things I am working on now that I have finished my Woodstock 50. I have this from Kirby Werby, and this is, I started this last December 26th. It's called A Case of December 26s. It's the after Christmas, but for me, it's the second day of Christmas because we do the 12 days of Christmas going from Christmas to the Epiphany. And this is done in Old Faithful, which is her 75-25, 440 yards. It's going to be a repeated Case of the 26s, and it is in my Gnome for the Holidays bag. I am doing this, I believe these are size 1 needles. Let me make sure. Can I even read? Oh, these are zeros, 2.0 millimeter. So that's what I'm doing these on. And just my standard cast on. This one is a 72 stitch cast on because I'm using size 0. 18 stitches on each needle for double points. I do 4 double points and work with my 5th. I do 3 rounds of knitting and then join, do ribbing for 10 rounds, and then I'm on to the striping. And I think I'm at the point where it's now repeating. Yep, because that was the oranges and the purples and going into the magenta. So that's where I am on that. This will become a take along just like the scarf or other things. So this is a sock I don't really have to think about. I will do half the weight or as long as I want it for my foot. and this will be a mine. December 26th has always been a joke for us and our family. It is my half birthday because my birthday is June 26th. So I always have something special for December 26th, and this just came with it perfectly. In this bag, what happens at a knitting retreat stays in a knitting retreat. This is for Thank God for Bags. This is my red sock, and I went to work on my red sock and found out that I didn't cast on enough. So this is going to get ripped out and restarted. And I don't know where I got the top pattern from. I can't find where I got it, so I'm just gonna make up 3 stitch patterns for this one, make it lacy, and call it good. This is out of Sweet Mountain Fibers in her mulled wine, and I have a brown that goes with it, which is dark chocolate to go with mulled wine. Knit up on size 3 because that is a DK weight sock. I love DK weight socks. I wear them year round, even in the summer here. I've been wearing them when, you know, the house AC is a little bit too cold. In this bag, because I went through my UFO tree, I have my granddaughter's lake sweater. And I haven't touched it in quite a while at all. I marked where I am, but I haven't knit on it. So I need to get this going. She has just gotten her first car, and her first car is this color, and she calls her car Rooney because it's maroony. And she'll have a sweater that matches her maroony. I just got to get that done before her birthday. Her birthday's in December. So that is a must to get that done. This is in my Abby's Creative gnome with cork reindeer. And I think I want to make some cork reindeers. I think they're cute. And then this one, 2 years ago, I started for football season, going and seeing my grandson play football. I started fingerless mitts. And I have one done, except for weaving in the ends, as you can see. And it does have a gusseted thumb. It's just straight opal yarn. This opal is a Kinder, I think it's Little Mouse. It's 150 grams, size 6. So I have this going. I am at the point, if you haven't seen these are double point holders. So I don't really care if they're matchy-matchy, but I'm at that point there. And then I need to knit up to here, do the gusset, and then do the rest. And this will be my mitts for football. His first game was last Thursday. No, his first game is this Thursday, and we can't go because of Sarge's surgery. But when I go to the games, this is what I take. And even if I don't finish it at the games this year, I will finish it and be able to use them. So this is going to go into rotation. Why did I pull that out? If you haven't seen one of these are old school. Rocking it old school here. These are DPN holders. You can use them for circular as well. Wow, that just doesn't want to go in there. Let's tuck that up a little further. So you put all your DPNs and your project in, and then the other side goes on top, and it's just a cardboard tube. I've seen them made out of PVC pipe. I've seen them made out of wood, and they're an easy thing to keep your needles together and your project in check. This bag is, ooh, who made this bag? Oh. Good, Fate's Thread. She's no longer selling bags, but Fox and the Hound is a memory of mine going with my aunt Eleanor. She took me to the theater once, and only once, but we went and we saw Fox and the Hound. No, she took me twice. She took me to see Fox and the Hound, and she took me to see Rescuers. And it was one of those things that this aunt was 10 years older than my dad, and I didn't have any grandparents. They were gone by then. And she would take us each for a week at a time, and it was the only time we were alone with her. And my brothers didn't come, my sisters didn't come, anything like that. And Fox and the Hound is one of my favorite Disney movies, as is The Rescuers. It was before, the princesses were out with Snow White and Cinderella and things like that, but I will die saying, "Here, kitty, 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 kitty," or "Can I pet that?" That's just me. But I love the Fox and the Hound, and so I had to grab that up when that came. So talking about knitting and things, I did do a little bit of shopping. I found a new to me yarn store, and as you can see, this is out years ago, but foxes are big with me. That's a measuring tape. New to me yarn store. So that would be Unwind GR, so Grand Rapids. I was out at an interview and I hit a place in the road coming home and there was an accident. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to sit here in traffic forever. So I hit, that button and said, "Where's the nearest yarn store?" And it told me that it was less than 10 minutes away. So I got off the highway and I went to the yarn store. They're getting ready to move. It's a really cute yarn store. They carry a lot of Cascade, but they also carry Juniper Moon, and they carry Junction Fiber Mill, and they're big Chiagu and Knit Pro suppliers, and a few other things that I hadn't seen before, but it wasn't what I was after, and I wanted something I knew going in. I wanted a plain sock yarn. I would prefer a DK, but I didn't get a DK. I got 2 skeins of Heritage, which is 75-25, but in plain colors. This one is color 5750. I will hold it double. Whoops. There's a reason I have that up there. Hold on. And then I also got this jade color. I want to say this is an apricot nectarine color, and this is a jade color. No, they're not going to be together. Both will be their own socks. I want to do some lace socks, and I like plain colors for lace. And I have found that my basil color basil socks are my most worn right now. I really like them. But this one is color 5627. So I picked up those 2. But I also picked up some Making Tracks from Junction Fiber Mill. This is 100% wool, and it's like the old Crazy from Stonehenge Fiber Mill, but since Stonehenge no longer is in process, they don't do Crazy anymore. So I'm like, I want to try this. I actually got this in the worsted weight, and this is, what is the color on this? Stick Season. So it's blues and browns, and I have all that brown that I was going to make a circular sweater out of, and then I'm like, I'm not making that. I'm not even starting it until I'm at my final weight, because that's why it hasn't been started. I don't want to make something so big out of so much yarn, but I could split that and do a color work sweater. I have a couple that I've wanted to get done. One of them's got feathers, and I did it last year, but then it bled and ruined the sweater. This one I think might work to do with the dark brown and this color, and I picked that up. But I also picked up this one, and this is called Day's End. So you're talking like a sunset. And Michigan definitely has this color sunsets. But I want to do, I think, what is the name of that sweater? Sian. Sian. And I have, what is this? This is a GN tweed. And I had picked this up out in South Dakota when I was out there. And this is the colorway 2, which is like a pumpkin orange. And I was thinking of this as the color work section. And if you haven't seen Sian, I'll put it up here. But it is a very straightforward color work. It's not like it's a pictured color work. It has rows of different color, and it goes down to, I have a fur or a hair on me. Color work goes down to about right here and about right here. It is supposed to be long sleeved. I don't know that I'm going to do long sleeve because I barely have enough of this. This is 200 yards. And for my size, if I go at the full size, which I could go down 1 and I'd have enough, but you're supposed to have 225 yards. So I don't know if that's excess and you just have it, but I know I have enough of this. I have 3 skeins here, and I do have a 4th in the other room. So I have enough of this. I'm just holding it in this bag that I got at the same store of Knit West, Knit Sip West, Knit something. And so I am thinking these colors together will go really well for a color work that really pops. I mean, I want a low contrast, high contrast kind of feel, somewhat, you know, I guess medium contrast kind of thing. And that would be great. Hey, welcome.
Hi.
So if you haven't met him yet, which a lot of you have, this is my husband. We call him the Sarge, being that you were in the military for a lot of years and now you're retired. So we got a few questions, and so I'm going to ask you a couple. There's more that are on there, but and I've received some through direct messages. First one that was asked was, we know you hunt.
A wee bit.
What do you hunt for, or what do you hope to hunt for? Because really hunting has only been since he's gotten out of the service. He used, as I used to put it, he used to hunt for people, and now he no longer hunts for people.
I was a secretary. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. The last time I can remember hunting before the military, I was like 8 or 10 years old. I shot my dad's 30-30, knocked me on my butt. That's about all I really remember from back then. Last year, I picked up whitetail deer hunting and ended up getting a good sized doe during bow season. I have a crossbow and a few hunting rifles. I did rifle season, went out a lot. Thought about picking up turkey hunting this year, but didn't quite make it out in time.
And you're hoping to be able to get some hunting in this year, but it depends on your surgery.
If my right hand was any indicator, they're doing basically the same thing to my left hand. I'm not going to make bow season. Probably not. Because I'm going to be down for 6 or 8 weeks. So that's October and November. it's going to be dicey. I would probably have to have somebody.
I don't know if you'd be able to cock the bow.
Yeah, I'd have to have somebody crank it for me. I got one of the ones that
Yeah.
has a handle crank that you can put on it. But you still got to hold it with two hands, and my left hand's not going to be strong enough for that. But if the incisions heal up, then hunting season for rifle season is on the table. But again, we'll see. And I'm definitely not going to be able to haul a 130-pound deer
Right.
out the woods by myself. That's not going to happen.
We got you a sled.
Yeah, I got a jet sled. That's a huge help.
And we haven't put in here, I mean, elk is way up north.
Elk is, you got a better chance of winning the Michigan Lotto than you do of getting an elk tag in Michigan.
And then they have, you're not really in it for the antlers. You're more in it for the meat.
I don't trophy hunt. If there's an old hunter saying, if it's brown, it's down. I go after the meat, and that's it. If that happens to be a buck, I probably wouldn't go for a button buck. That's one that just has two little antlers on it. But if it was a big boy and I wasn't shaking too bad, I'd probably go for it. But again, it's going to be for the meat.
Now, when we were in South Dakota, we had deer that visited us at our house, and I named it Bucky. And he had a lot of girlfriends that came with him. He was huge.
That was not a whitetail.
No, that was a mule deer, and his shoulder was your height.
He was about a little bit less than 6 foot tall at the shoulder. Like when he put his head up all the way, he was. I was looking up at him.
Yeah, and he had, the reason I called him Bucky, other than he was a buck, was he had full antlers except one was broken from a fight, and you know Bucky in the Avengers has that arm, so.
And he could clear our 8 foot lilac bushes that we had on 3 sides of the property
in a single bound.
Like it was like stepping over a speed bump.
He didn't even need to run. He just kind of went boing.
And his girlfriends could do it too. Just.
But you had always said that you wanted to shoot him there, and I'm like, no, he's here and not at our house. And we lived in town, so it wasn't like it was legal to shoot anyways.
No, it was a joke.
So,
that was just a joke.
But okay, next question.
Still, that would have been a lot of meat.
It would have. Favorite shareable military story? Now, number 1, it has to be clean.
Oh God.
And number 2, it can't be anything that you'll get in trouble about talking about.
No, I'm not going to get in trouble anyway. What are they going to do? Take my birthday away? Anyway, all right. I got one in 2010. I think it was the spool up training before I deployed the first time. My unit went on a month-long annual training. This is a National Guard unit. And we went to Camp Blanding, Florida. And I want to say it was like January or February, so the temperatures were really, really mild. It got cold at night, but not horribly so. And in the day, it was like 60s and 70s, so it was perfect training weather, really. It rained a lot. But even for a command unit like mine, everybody has to go through the same BS mobilization training. So naturally, we had all the weapons training, and we did M4s, Mark 19 grenade launchers, M2 50 cals, M240s, 249s, the little 9mm pistols. And the thing that was funny was that the week that we went and did this, or should I say the week before we went and we hit all these ranges, it didn't rain a single drop, which I guess in Florida, like, that never happens. And everything was really, really, really super dry. And every range that we went to, we lit it on fire. And by the time first responders showed up to put the bushfires out, we had burned the entire range to the ground. And it was really funny because we even did it to the 9mm range, which that's pistol ammo. That is not nowhere near hot enough to start a fire, but somehow magically we found a way. And it was funny because the base operations people just thought it was funny because that nobody else had ever done that. I mean, we literally, every range we touched burned to the ground.
But isn't it?
Because there's grass and trees in between lanes and stuff like that, and it just, we torched it all.
If you check out ammo, you have to use it. It's
yes,
not,
that's a rule. That's like an unspoken rule. If you check out ammo, you don't turn in live ammo. You turn in empty brass. So when qualifying was done, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, just a little bit. And then the last one for this week, or this episode. Now that you're retired, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, God. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. Just a lot of getting used to the way things are now. Because even, 4 years ago, before all the hoopla started, before they started to fix everything that was broken, I'm not that person anymore.
No.
So it's mainly just I'm getting used to finding new ways of doing all the things that I used to do before. So as far as a job or vocation, yeah, I don't know. I'll play that by ear.
You'll be my house husband.
Yeah, I'll be an unpaid houseboy for a while.
Which isn't true because you do bring in money. But you're into what kind of TV shows, what kind of movies, what do you have a special YouTube channel that you watch?
Oh, I like the outdoorsy YouTube
is
channels.
It Hitchcock?
Hickok 45.
Okay.
He's a older gentleman that does firearms reviews and things of that nature.
And then there's that dude that does all the camping stuff.
Blackie Thomas.
Well, there's Blackie Thomas, but there's the younger dude.
Corporal's Corner.
The guy with, I can't think of his name. He always does the tent reviews and the...
Oh, that's the outdoor gear review.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a couple channels, but the outdoor gear review is the one where he talks about different kinds of gear and stuff like that. I'm really fascinated with winter camping.
You haven't done it yet.
Yeah, when I was younger, I really didn't care for it, but now that I'm older and got a little more insulation, when it's down to 20 degrees, it doesn't bother me. I can go out there with a long t-shirt and a decent pair of pants and I'm fine. But
you also have a couple of knife channels because you've gotten into knives.
Oh, yeah. What's their DBK?
Is that the two dudes?
Dutch Bushcrafter knives or I don't know, something like DBK. That's what I remember. And a guy named Joe X. His older videos are really, really exceptionally entertaining. Some of his new stuff, I don't know. It's okay, but his older stuff it'll shine a light if you're into knives. You watch him take one and put it to task, and I've bought a couple of knives. Watching his video was like the straw that pushed me one way or the other to get a knife or to not get one.
Right.
And
of course you're into things like, we go and watch the grandkids on their football or their...
focus on family. That's a big thing.
Pole vaulting.
Mm-hmm.
Our oldest grandson just got engaged, so the wedding is 1 year from yesterday.
Something like that.
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got some things coming up, but I keep pushing you to start your own channel because I think people would want to listen to you. But
I'd have 14 things to say and then I'd be done. I'm not that creative.
But yeah, we have, for all these questions, we have a giveaway. And so I did a random number earlier and it came up with Christine's cami horn. I'm not sure. Christine's, and then CAMIHORN 6609 is the winner. And I have 3 things for you to choose from. So leave me a comment or send me a direct message. So I have, in lieu of my husband here, he loves Serenity. And this is a sock set from Turtle Purl. It is a 75-25, 450 yards matching Serenity brown coat colorway. So that is off the TV show Firefly.
Didn't one of your buddies make me a Jane hat?
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of my most prized possessions.
And you wear it every winter. And then I have this set.
Man walks down the street and that, he ain't afraid of nothing.
That's right. Clap if you get the quote. This is from 3 by the Sea. It is a set that comes with, Venice base lace weight super kid mohair mulberry silk 459 yards, and sandable base fingering 75-25 463 yards. She also had thrown in some stitch markers and some tea, and this set in pinks and a mulberry color. I think it makes a cowl, but you can make whatever you want out of it. And then if you're not in the knitting crochet side and you would like, I do have a full kit for a leather bag. I'm gonna open this and see if I can get the little picture out. And let's see, is there a bigger picture? Yep. So it is a picture of a little bag that you can make. It is leather and it has everything you need to make the bag. And it's like a bucket bag, great for a project bag. So one of the 3 can be mailed to you. Go ahead and drop us a comment that you saw this. Congratulations. I'm thinking you are Christine, but I'm not positive.
And she gets one of those?
She gets to choose which one. So you can say bag, striping socks, or shawl. I mean, you can use that for socks too, but whatever you want. And it'll come just like that. And I will need your, once you let me know that you've seen this, I can get a hold of you how you wish, and we can get an address to send this to. I don't ever ask for, things that are weird to ask for. I'm not going to ask for a visa number or anything like that. Anybody contacts you with that kind of stuff, it's a scam. All I need, probably, if you're overseas, I will need a phone number as well as the address, but within country, within the United States, I will just need your address to get this mailed out. So you pick one and we will keep going from there. Any more questions, put them down, and when we do another one of these, one of the other 2s will be up for grabs. So
there you go.
Yeah, I had talked about earlier how I found that sweater and we tried it on you and why it got ripped out. What kind of sweater do you want me to make you out of that? Because I'm going to make your collegiate sweater with the Ravenclaw and brown.
I really don't care what it is as long as it's got a zipper.
You do want a zipper,
yeah,
but you don't want this.
It's just easier to get on and get off than a pullover.
Well, no, you don't want to. What about buttons? Because like the one I'm making you is going to be buttons.
Buttons are fine.
So
I just want to put it on like this instead of pulling it up over my head.
Well, yeah. That
putting it on is easy. Taking it off is a pain in the butt.
Especially with your shoulders since surgeries.
Exactly.
So we will look through that and get that going. I guess, thanks for coming on.
No problem.
And yeah, check your checkbook before starting the high fiber diet.
Peace.
Bye-bye.